I didn't understand why the left and right couldn't get along, basically.
Yeah.
And basically both of them believe that they're right and the other side is wrong, when in fact that's not the problem. The problem is they're different. And what we have to do to function as a country is develop consensus among different points of view and move forward that way. Because either one of the groups does not have an adequate view forward for the country. People on the left tend to be um, interested in change. They are drawn to equality. So they want to see a more equality based country.
Yeah.
They and so they like change. People on the right are more comfortable with the status quo and drawn to tradition. So those are
Yeah.
very different views of the world, but they're valuable because if you look far enough back to the genetic beginning of these behaviors, they
Hmm.
came out of the migration of human beings out of Africa. And when human beings started encountering different ecosystems, they had to develop adaptations to different environments because it wasn't
Yeah.
homogeneous. So you couldn't really develop uh, genetic by natural selection. You couldn't develop traits that would allow you to adapt to different ecosystems, but you could more quickly develop behaviors that were that helped you be adaptable to those different systems. So in the case of the left, the people on the left were interested in change and they made good hunters, and the people on the right did not want change and they made good managers of the food supply. So so when food was scarce, it was the liberals that wanted to find food and were willing to do it and were good at it.
Because they
When
were courageous too. It
food
sounds
was
like
in
it's courage
food was in
versus fear.
plentiful supply. The conservatives, being they tend to be more conscientious, they were better food managers. Okay, but the point of all
Right.
this is okay. So that creates flexibility, right, and adaptability. But neither group would have been able to function on their own. If we had
Mm.
all
Yeah.
liberals, they would be out hunting all the time. They'd all get killed because
Mm.
they would take high risks. If we had all
Yeah.
conservatives, we wouldn't hunt at all. So, I mean, that's the point. And when we talk about the extreme ideologues, remember, even in the ancient world or in prehistoric times, the people who were ideologues were on the edges. There's a whole spectrum of people in the middle. If you're
Okay.
a pure independent politically, you're not really into any ideology. You might be be interested in practical government, which is what I consider myself to be.
I like that.
Um,
Yeah.
so my undergraduate degree is an engineer, so
Hmm.
chemical engineer. So what engineers do is design solutions for people that work. Okay, so
Yeah.
that
Get the
carries
job done.
forward into my politics because I don't believe in inefficient government. I think
Yeah.
government should pass new laws by consensus that really work. And lately, not much works. So that's a big problem. But so we sit here with tribalism, and my fifth book addresses the issue of billionaire control over the government. But while we have tribalism, we can't come together and attack the billionaires because we're split. And of course, they love it because we're fighting amongst themselves. So there's no target on them, basically.
Wow. Okay.
Mm.
So you're saying while we're fighting between left and right, the top is really benefiting from all this
Yeah,
anguish.
right.
Uh, Let me ask you a question about genetics. So you have conservative genes and progressive genes. Okay.
Yep.
So does that mean that I can know who I'm gonna vote for based on my genetics? Am I gonna vote for Kamala or Trump based on my genetics, pretty much?
You can, well, I would, the quick answer is yes. I started my first book after I read, you know who Jonathan Haidt